And welcome back, Market Day Report. We are 15 minutes away from opening our grain and livestock trade on this Tuesday. Mark Oppold, thanks for joining us. Whether watching RFDTV, a lot of folks tell us they now listen to us on rural radio. They have it in their vehicle, and they wouldn't be without it. And we're great to be along with you on the ride today. All right, Rich Nelson joining us as always on a start out the day here from Allendale. Great to have you on the team here, Rich. I have our first look at the USDA progress reports. Not a lot of crops out there are being planted here yet, but we still have that first report of the season. It always means that the planting season is here. Take a look at that and get your thoughts as we look at the numbers this week, showing, I guess, the one that's out there, that a lot of folks looking at grain sorghum and rice, for one thing, out there that are about on schedule with their 5-year average.
That sure is right. Looking across the board, we got everything from cotton, sorghum. In fact, we got rice, as you mentioned here, and in fact, a few other things to look at: oats and these other minor crops, which have seen above normal planting pace. So this is good as far as a first look for the whole year. Exactly.
Yeah, oats at 28%. Those of you tuning in on Sirius XM, oats at 28%. Actually, that is behind the 5-year average is 34%. The others, rice at 17%, normally 14%. Grain sorghum in the ground here, 15% planted. That's a little ahead of schedule there. Rich at 12% is the 5-year average, and the cotton underway here at 4%, and the 5-year average there 4% as well. So again, just getting a good start, but pretty well on schedule.
That sure is right. And we certainly on the corn, soybeans, wheat side do have to look very closely at these numbers, especially these plain states. Kansas is a great example. These guys are supposed to be making a major switch this year specifically, going into soybeans by an extra 950,000 acres. So in this case, we do have to watch these plain states, and maybe there will be a little more interest than usual on this first of the year report.
You mentioned the plain state. Let's take a look at the winter wheat condition. This is, again, the first of the season. And again, we're about 10, 12 minutes away from opening the trade this morning. But our first look, now these individual states have been putting out their, as you know, their weekly reports. But nationally, showing 51% of the winter wheat is rated good to excellent. It was 59% this time a year ago. And the 10-year average, Rich, I was just reading, is 56%. So a little behind the average here as far as early season condition. Maybe no surprise.
You know, that's probably right here, especially with this recent dry spell we've had all the way up until just a few weeks ago. I think in this case, these numbers are probably realistic. Whether these are determining yield and those issues, I think on that respect, these probably aren't going to be the perfect scenario, especially with winter wheat, where its main determinant of yield is actually these rains we're going to be seeing here right now. So that's something important to consider as well.
Very good. And Rich, we did have a weekly or I say a monthly, crush report, not from the NOPA, but the government puts out a crush report, a grain crush report, and talking about corn for February, 423 million bushels of corn went to the ethanol industry, and that was nearly unchanged from the previous year.
That sure is right. And we watch these monthly reports that show the corn going in and the byproduct going out. As our main issue we watch is actually determining the corn for ethanol efficiency rate. And with these type of reports, we can see that as of right now, we're still doing roughly even, if not actually slightly under last year's pace. So in this case, this report would confirm to us that, in our opinion, USDA still needs to raise their corn for ethanol estimate here on this next supply-demand report here lined up on the 11th.
Well, we're on our way here. It's April, it's planting season, and we thank you for the time this morning, Rich. We'll get this crop or this trade underway here in a few minutes, and we'll visit with you tomorrow.
Great. Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Rich Nelson from Allendale joining us here most every morning here to start things off before the trade opens. Going to give you that last look before the opening bell. We'll take a break, come back, and check in another good friend of ours, Ed Serwin, watching us, listening in Amarillo, Texas. We'll talk about the cattle trade coming up after this.